if you are probably feeling like most of us right now, I think the COVID fatigue is beyond what we can handle. This whole year has been really, really challenging. As you know, this pandemic actually was the catalyst for finally paying attention to what you have been saying for over a decade. And maybe we would not have come to this understanding because it was sort of like, the frog in the boiling water. It didn't seem as extreme, it was like the slow burn. But now seeing the impact of it all converging at once, do you feel on any level now you have an opportunity to actually make a better shift?
I'll tell you, the first 3 weeks a year ago, almost, we were kind of panicked. A lot of journalists and thought leaders were starting to say, "Oh, there's no more don't worry about screen time anymore. It's just life is all on a screen now." And then about 3 weeks in, we started getting calls from parents at the Children's Screen Time Action Network saying, "This is worse than ever. My kids are lethargic. My kids are gaining weight. My kids are have headaches, eye strain. Anything you can imagine was happening." And they said, "We need you more than ever."
This concept of sort of the fish in water, right? They don't know anything else. So they're not even sure that these feelings of depression or disconnect or loneliness, they can't make that compare and contrast because this is just all they know. So, what are you suggesting when you're talking to parents of younger people who are now the highest level of loneliness of the population? The most digitally connected population is the loneliest population.
So now, almost a year later, when we've been able to see these things exacerbate, we're really working with families to set expectations for the next stage and to say, yes, you know what, we had to give ourselves a break during this time. It was tough. We may have had unemployment. We may have had be working two jobs, both parents working at home and trying to educate their children. So in the past, we may have been just looking at one day. I just have to get through this day. It's fine to hand my kids a screen. It's fine to let them do whatever they want because I'm just trying to get through this day. Now that we've all been together in these spaces, it's helped us to really see what's going on and see how disconnected we can be in the same house. We're coming up in May on Screen Free Week. And to prepare, we've been encouraging screen-free Saturdays. Anyone who's listening can look at screenfree.org and some great suggestions on just unplugging one day a week and see how it feels. Feels incredible, actually. It's not easy, but it's incredible feeling to give yourself a break. So that's the other thing we're encouraging with those young people is take a break.
Keep using this word connected, 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 but it's very different. One is a wireless digital satellite connection, and another is human connection. And that's the digital distinction that we have to focus on. My students are not doing well. They look like they are really hurting. And I know the other thing is when you have younger kids, I've been talking to teachers who are really navigating some of the feedback that they're getting from parents and little kids about life in front of the screen for this past year.
We are trying to start a movement, Be Tech Wise with Baby. We have a great resource at the Action Network called Be Tech Wise with Baby that we did with the American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association. It's free. It's available on the website, but it's for expectant and new parents to start thinking about this. The human brain, 80% of it develops in the first 3 years of life and 90% by the age of 5. So if you think of how long you live with your brain, That development in those years is super critical. And in language development, like you're talking about, the most important thing is to be looking at your child and talking to them. And some researchers have called this the new generation of neglected children, not because the parents aren't in the home with them, not because they're not feeding them or bathing them, but because they're not talking with them. And just imagine a mother is nursing her baby. She should be looking at the baby, cooing with the baby, but she's looking here at her cell phone off to the side, scrolling on her social media, perhaps, or texting. And whatever we think is more important there, there's nothing more important than talking to that baby, because children are learning by exploring their environment. They're exploring relationships. They're exploring the world around them. And if they're not allowed to, so in a way, handing them an iPad is not allowing them to explore that world, then they do miss critical developmental stages. And so parents are starting to see that, starting to worry about it in a good way, in a way that says, oh, if we pay attention now and make some tweaks, then we'll be able to, not avoid some of the behavior problems that happen later in life.
Phone calls, bringing phone calls back again. And it's hysterical because I give students the concept of, hey, just for a week, you're going to make some phone calls, replace some of the texts with a phone call. The panic that ensues with just the thought. I watch students literally having like a panic attack, like, no, 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 we don't call. We don't call. If I call, people will think something's wrong with me. That would be creepy. But then I'm always saying, well, listen, this is a homework assignment, so you can blame it on your horrible teacher and use the phrase, would you mind? Would you mind helping me out on this homework assignment? And then after they do it, they're coming back and again, if you're over 30, you might be going, that's bizarre. But they will come to class going, oh my God, did you know you could actually hear a smile in a phone call? Oh my God, we just talked for 3 hours.